You knew I will not be. I practice this a lot, and a lot of people have already heard this, but here we go. I have two themes on this. One is Andy's girlfriends, okay? And then people that have either saved my life or played a huge role in my life. And the first person, Sherry knows this, but the first person is Sherry. Sherry and I met in 1982. One thing her ex-husband did get right, he said, Andy is sweet on you. It took me 3 hours to get to the hospital to see Luke. And Logan, I'm sorry, but I had to travel, so it took a couple weeks to get down to see you. But Sherry and I have been through a lot together. We know each other's family very well. And I would have to indicate that you are a friend for life. And you're stuck with me, Sherry. Now, one down, okay. All right, now, next one. It's kind of a funny story here. Technically, her name is Amanda Brooke. But I met her as Brooke, so I call her Brooke. But now, I have to call her Amanda Brooke because, that's like her name. So, but we met because she was dating Adam, who was my neighbor upstairs. And we just clicked and really became very close friends. And I was so honored when they asked me to be an usher in their wedding.
Woo!
Yeah.
You're the best one, except you didn't go out with the boys to the bachelor party.
No, I did not. There's many reasons for that. Now, the next one is, you see, Lorena, who is also a neighbor. Yes? God, that's a signal later on when I'm talking too long. And I'm like, it can't be, I'm talking. Now, she was a neighbor upstairs. And there's a little funny story there. We met at a party. Geez, we got along great, chatted and everything. And we said, hey, let's meet out at the pool tomorrow. No problem. Okay, so I get there early. I assume there's Lorena. But I said, well, hey, how are you? And I guess when you meet someone, you don't say, hey, by the way, I have a twin sister. Well, and she's not any near as friendly as she was the night before. Who is this guy? So, it is just a wonderful friendship. Lorena's two daughters have me wrapped right around their finger. And I love when I get to visit them. Miss Emily, I'm talking about you, sweetheart. Okay, that's what we want pretty well. Okay? Now we kind of move on to the Lifetime Achievement Awards. Now, you see, Pam Parson, where might you be? Well, there you go. Now, Pam, I didn't even know who she was. First time I even heard of her, she brought food to my dad's service. And I thought, I got to get to know this woman. And I must tell you, if you ever get invited to dinner at her house, go. And also, she played a huge part in my life at Pilgrimage. And she got me the interview at Chico's. Second Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Miss Lisa Dutton. Where's Lisa?
Right.
Okay. Now, she was my first manager at Chico's, training me. It's funny, she has selective memory on this. She taught me how to board fold. Now, of the folks at Chico's know that I am, ambassador to director, it's right here, Pam, director of board folding. But I say it's Lisa's fault, but she claims no knowledge of it and will tell anybody that'll listen that, she didn't have anything to do with it. But there's another thing about Lisa too, is that when anybody at Chico's doesn't know anything, that's who you call. Because Lisa knows the answers to everything. Last one, very important. My work wife, Miss Claudia. I have known Claudia as long as I've known Pam. Okay, so we knew each other way before Chico time. But I absolutely love working with her. Now, this is odd, but she calms me down.
Very odd.
Her son was a little surprised when I told him that because my mom doesn't usually calm people down, but when I work with Claudia, I feel safe. I know everything is going to be fine. And one time, a customer said, "Are you guys married? You finished each other's sentences." And then this was even more fun for me personally. She called me Sam, and I was so excited. I called up Sam and I said, "Sam, guess what? She called me Sam." It's cheating. Sam, deadpan, goes, "Did it start with damn it?"
There's usually another 2 words that goes in there.
He's like, "Wow, what's that like?" You know? Claudia is so important to me, and I just am just very, very lucky. Okay, so. I haven't faded into the part of the people that played a part in my life, either saving it or doing something to make a difference in it. Now, Dennis Fusold, where's Dennis? Okay. Now, he was my brother's best friend in high school. He went to high school with Pam and Rick, and he lived with us one summer, and became friends of the entire family. And last night, he and his wife Robin almost gave me a heart attack when they told me they weren't going to be able to attend the party. And I go over to my brother, Rick and Dee's house, and they open the door. I just couldn't believe it. But the one funny story about Dennis is he also saved my father's life in a funny sort of kind of way. Now, and you'll get this when I say, look, picture it, 1965, Hurricane Betsy, we evacuate the house, and we come back, and the house is fine, but more importantly to my dad, the boat's on top of the piling. So a bunch of neighbors get,
A big boat.
Big boat. Big boat. It's up on top of the piling. So the neighbors get together and they get a 2x4 and they get the boat off the piling. Well, my dad's not going to let a boat sink, right there. So he gets in the flybridge, starts it up, takes it out. He's going against the wind, turns it in the little lagoon, and goes flying past our house to land it on what was hoping to be a beach. Because the water was so high, with the tide, he could have blown the boat up, or he landed it on the beach. Well, Dennis comes over, and Mom tells him, hey, go get Ron, basically. And so he drives around, and Dad's in the flybridge, and so he hit the beach, thank heavens. So he jumps off the flybridge and lands right in this thorn bush, and he can't move, because he's about to wear shoes, with all the excitement going on. So Dennis kind of wades in. My dad jumps on Dennis's back, and Dennis carries him out and out. So thank you, Dennis. The next person you see is my sister, Dee. Okay, and she married Rick in 1968. She helped me with my homework. She paid attention to me. Some of my siblings were not necessarily paying attention to me. I was a brat, I'm quite sure of it. And we would go exploring in the canal and look at, because the area wasn't quite finished yet, so we would go exploring. And when I was diagnosed with cancer, she was so supportive. And remember later on the part when I said she told me when she was helping me with my homework, she told me, to concentrate, because I'll come back to that where it's changed now. But she's half the reason I'm a Gator fan.
What a Gator fan.
Yes. My brother-in-law, Herb, but actually he's my brother. He helped me get over being intimidated. And I told this story of a friend of mine where I was very nervous around him. And, you know, he flew a helicopter in Vietnam. And he jumped out of a perfectly good airplane to go skiing down this, you know. And I had this great conversation with him in the hot tub, and I was telling my friend, you know, I was nervous, and he goes, "You're in this hot tub, you know, I mean, how great is that, you know?" So, the main thing is there, is hot tub, don't worry, you're having a good time. I am so proud.
That was easy.
I am so proud of him for not only flying a helicopter in Vietnam, but being a colonel in the Army Reserves. And he was also very supportive when I had cancer, as my whole family was. And I no longer, and I forgot to mention this, Steve, I no longer buy him brother-in-law cards. I buy him brother birthday cards. And D, I buy her sister birthday cards. How am I doing on time here?
All the time in the world.
Oh, okay.
It's your party.
All right. Now,
Well,
You're in the hot tub.
I'm still sitting in the Exactly. Now, yes. Okay. My brother Rick has saved my life several times. Now, when I was in Orlando, he came down and he took care of me for a week. And he also, the second time, he helped save my life. And this will kind of be involved with Adam, and I'll have to explain that. But we'll just fast forward to the fact that now I'm at the hospital. I had done a stupid thing and watched a 9/11 10-year anniversary as it played out live. And so basically, I just had a meltdown, had a panic attack. So I get to the hospital, okay, Adam's story, how I got there, I'll tell you later. So off we go, and you know, when Rick had his stroke, my job was to rub his arm. Well, I'm on the stretcher, I'm in the fetal position, I got the sheet over my head, and Rick's like, you know, what can I do? Can I rub your arm? And so I just stuck my arm out. And so then, like, you know, I'm like, you know, granted, I'm not bleeding to death here, but could somebody give me some attention? And I went out to the nurse station and said, you know, I'd like some water. And nothing, no water. Well, all of a sudden I hear, okay, that's enough of that. And I hear Rick leaving. Oh, here we go. So off he goes. I don't know what he said or who he said to what, but the next thing I know, there were 4 glasses of water, 2 coming in each direction, and 2 lunch boxes. And somebody came in and said, "We are so sorry." So I don't exactly know what you said, but you got action. And he is also the other half of the reason I'm a Florida Gator. Okay. My sister Pam. Now,
you can tell them.
oh, thank you. She was, and they call it a different word now, she was a stewardess for National Airlines. And when she would come home from a flight, I would sit on the end of the bed and want to hear stories about the flight. Like sometimes she'd have a movie star on the flight or something or whatever. And, you know, and this was back when they had hats and gloves and, you know, the whole 9 yards. And evidently she had a uneventful flight. You know, nothing happened. And I said, well, make something up then. I've been waiting for you to get home, and I want to hear a story. So, and then we fast forward back to my...
How old were you, Andy, when that happened?
9.
9?
Yeah.
I was gonna say 28.
And so then there was, you know, the Orlando thing, and of course she came to take care of me, and so we're at the doctor's office, okay? And the doctor announces that he's going to show me how to use a catheter. The next thing I know, I hear the door slam. And I turn around and I said to the doctor, "Where'd my sister go?" And he said, "Well, I don't think she left you here. I bet you she's in the waiting room." So, take care of me, but she's like, "You're on your own." And then someone that is probably the most responsible for me surviving cancer is my sister Wendy, who's got PTO to get today off. That's the term that she goes use, sort of paid time off. Because in my book, she's at the front desk for you people, but she's watching me upstairs. And she really was the first one, because I told her what my symptoms were, and she, as Wendy could only do, threw a hissy fit and said, "You gotta get to the doctor, you gotta get to the doctor right now." Call back 3 hours later, "What time's the appointment?" Bang, bang, bang. So, you know, she got me started in the right direction. Now, when it was her turn to come and take care of me in Orlando, she said, "Now, this catheter thing, you're all done with that, right? I don't have to worry about that." And Milena, you know, the twin sister that I didn't know, we have become very good friends. And well, not last summer, but the summer before.
July 2015.
Yes. She did something extraordinary for me. I had to have, in 3 succession weeks, 3 leg surgeries on my veins. She came and picked me up, took me there, waited while, you know, I was in there and all that. And then she would drive me home and make sure that I got into the house. And looking back at it, of course, I'm sure it had something to do with the drugs they put me on. But the drive there was fine. The drive home, I was home in no time at all. Look at this flip.
I wasn't speeding.
No. But what she did though is she took a session of 3 weeks, 1 day, to take care of me. And I thank you very much. Okay, moving right along here. Okay. Now, where's Mr. Boston?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Now, you know, I tell you, I only was in Orlando for 9 months, and it was awful. But a lot of people came down to take care of me, and Greg also came down to take care of me. Now, when he came down to Orlando, we ate out a lot. There wasn't a whole lot of cooking going on, so we just went out to eat. But he also let me stay with him when I moved back here. And this is a pretty funny story too. He was involved as a Georgia secretary for the Democratic Convention.
In 2008.
In 2008.
Yeah, I was the page for the Georgia delegation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I talked to him on the phone, and I'm sitting on the floor, like here, I got a coffee table like this, and I'm talking to him, "Hey, I'm about to be on, you know, CNN in the background." And I'm looking, and there goes Greg. And I jump up and scream. I hit my shin right here, and there's blood coming. But I was so excited that I saw somebody on TV that I know. I didn't care. You know, so, the scar is healed, Greg.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
But I want to just thank you for being you. Very important.
Love you.
Tom, where's Tom?
Over there.
Okay. He was the first person that I met, just someone without being introduced to somebody. I met him. He worked right next door when I worked at Hungry Howie's. He worked at an insurance company, and he invited me to this parade they have in Atlanta, and my jaw dropped. I could not believe there were that many people there. And, well, there were. He also calls me Andrew K., which I forgot. See, I can go back and they don't even know it. Dennis Busold also calls me Andrew K. So, and they don't necessarily know each other. They know each other now, but they don't. So I thought it was always cool. It's endearing to me that I have two close friends that call me Andrew K. Then the other thing is, Tom had me over for dinner and at Greg's house, and Greg's driveway is like this, and then it comes down like this. And so I got there first, but he's behind me, so you can just imagine what's about to happen. So he backs down the driveway, and I thought he backed out and, moved his car. Well, he's waiting because there's a car coming. Well, I'm in a truck, and I don't see any of this. So I started. Next thing I know, my truck is on top of his hood. Instead of getting upset and like, what are you doing? And he says, if you didn't like dinner, all you had to do was tell me. And I also hit the brake so hard, I didn't realize at the time, but everybody knows you have a big bone in your leg, but you also have a little trailing bone. I broke that. So I ended up in a boot for 3 weeks. I did, Tom, try to stop the car. But, I thank you very much for being in my life. Adam, now we can go back to part of the story, okay? Now, the first time I met Adam, just moved in, meeting the neighbors. He's walking down the staircase, and I do mean ex-girlfriend, threw a shoe at him. What did I just move into?
Oh, I know about that.
Needless to say,
Watch out.
really, needless to say, she moved on and out the door she went. Now, the part that where Adam helped save my life was we have to go back to the part where I'm having the panic attack because I'm watching the 9/11 10-year thing run through. So I call him up and I said, look, I gotta go to the hospital and have a panic attack. And he wasn't too well with any of us. And now I've never thought that I would ever say this because Adam went to the same driving school as my brother and my niece and my nephew because he thinks a speed limit sign is a suggestion. But I'm having a panic attack and I want to hurry up and get to the hospital. And he's like, do you want to stop and get something to drink or something to eat? And I'm like, I never thought I'd ever ask you in this in my life, could you please drive faster? So he gets me to the hospital, and then that's when Rick got there and they tag team, and Adam was like, I did all I could do. On your Rick, But, and I was also very honored, as I mentioned earlier, to be in their wedding party. There's a lady, Susan, where's Susan? Steele. Now, she is my former boss. I worked with her at Donato's Pizza. We have remained friends for a very long time. Been through a whole bunch of stuff. And her partner Carol could not be here tonight. She wanted to be here tonight, but because of work, she could not. She's talked to Susan and I enough today to where she almost is here, but the two of them are so important to me. And when I had cancer, Susan would call me on Monday, Carol would call me on Thursday, and I would get a present like every other week. So they, it's just amazing, and I thank you, Susan, very much. Now, the funny thing about the thing that's in this room here is I actually have two former bosses and my current boss. Now, this is when we go back to where I was talking about when Dee said that I'd have to concentrate on my homework. Well, my two former bosses have told me many times, Andy, focus, focus. And then my brand new boss, like a month into it, Andy, you gotta focus. I need your help with the schedule. You have to focus. And so, now that one's on appeal though. And it would depend on what type of judge I got, but she's right. Who am I kidding? She's right. But it's funny that I have two former bosses, my current boss, they all tell me to focus. And many years ago, my sister Dee said, Andy, you have to pay attention. So I'm very honored that my two former and current boss are here. The other thing is I didn't have a heart attack when Dennis and Robin opened the door. Could have had a heart attack later on when all this stuff is going on last night that is not making a lot of sense. And my sister Pam had me completely convinced, but she doesn't want to be the role of liar anymore. But they had me going with Dennis. We went to Publix. We went to Chick-fil-A, which was closed. They knew it. And then these will stay there. We'll call some other Chick-fil-A's and see if they're open, knowing that they're all closed. Then, can you go back to Publix and get a stick of cream cheese? And then while you're there, go by the deli and discuss with them how much popcorn chicken you think we should get. You're having this discussion with this poor guy. He doesn't know that he's on. But Dennis is like, I think we should have a lot because, I'll eat a lot. And then Dee's like, well, gee, we think that sounds like a lot. And it's back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, okay, so we finally went. And, I said, I want to go out to dinner really early so I get home and everything. Pam's helping me with this thing, and we're taking it forever. Next thing I know, something that surprised me, Herb comes flying in saying, I'm sorry, Andy, we're late. And,
What else is new?
he never says that because he kind of runs late. But I get up, and there are my cousins Susan and Richard.
We're delaying them.
Yes, which would have been there a lot sooner, and they would have had to send me all over the area if what they went through to get here. They were the last flight out of Boston with a blizzard of 10 inches of snow. They changed planes in Charlotte, and they arrived without their luggage, which arrived at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now, in fact, if this doesn't come out right, just go with it, okay? But I was telling Pam a funny story that when Randy's husband, calls the store, see if it goes, all right, here's Randy, he's calling me, all right. He goes, hi, Andy, this is Randy. Can I speak to Brandy? And I said, sure, Randy. Hey, Randy's on the phone. Try to say that about 10 times. All I can say is, if there's anything on these sheets I've missed, I'm sorry. But I want to thank every single person in this room. And one of the reasons why I got through this is I know everyone. And I just thank you all very much.
Oh, nice. Hey, I heard you were going to be here. Good to see you.
Andy was talking about how blown away he was that like 99% of the people that he invited to this party said yes. And that doesn't happen, right? Statistically speaking, that's an impossibility. And yet it did. And Emily said something that I thought was very astute. I'm not just kissing up to her, all that is she said it's not an accident that happened, right? You earned that. And I thought when he was standing up here thanking all the people in this room for the last half hour that he had it backward. That the reason that everybody's here is, I'm sorry, it's a reader trait that our eyes sweat when we get emotional. I remember when I was a kid, my granddad did it too. And
Yes, he did.
He was a tough son of a bitch. He had it backward. The reason we're all here is to thank him for being that light in our lives, and somebody that you just know you can count on when things get tough. He's the guy who's going to find a way to be there. My Uncle Andy's 60th birthday. Here's to this being your best birthday party ever, and us sharing many more to come.